Okay, once again, good morning to all of you. Let us continue the class. I'll just share my slide. Yes, slide కనిపిస్తా ఉంది కదమ్మా భారతి.
Sir, contestants.
Yes. Okay, so we'll just start continue with this next topic, that is CAM, Casulasian acid metabolism. So I'll just quickly recap. So what is this? So the CAM is nothing but CAM full form is Casulasian acid metabolism, which occurs in about 12, 20 families. In those 20 families, number of species they show this CAM cycle. Okay. Some of these families examples are which include CAM cycle are Liliaceae, especially Casulacea and Rubiaceae. And it has been reported that CAM is genetically controlled. Okay. It is sometimes affected by changes in the surrounding environment. So this CAM cycle, it is normally being exhibited by the genetic. It has a control by genetically genes that are present in those plants, but sometimes these CAM plants are affected or controlled by the surrounding environmental conditions also. Okay, so it is what is CAM actually? If you say, then you can say that it is carbon fixation pathway present in some plants, known as CAM photosynthesis. So these plants fix carbon dioxide during night time. So earlier we saw that in C3 plants or C4 plants, where this carbon dioxide fixation normally occurs during daytime. So what is it during this night time? Here, these plants they fix the carbon dioxide during the night time, and it is stored in the form of four carbon compound, that is malate or malic acid. Now, if you see that the CO2 that is released during the day, where it is concentrated and around the enzymes rubisco, increasing the efficiency of photosynthesis. So CO2 is normally it is released during the daytime, okay, with the help of this enzyme, that is rubisco, and during night time the CO2 is fixed. So it is bit different when compared to the normal C3 or C4 plants, you can see. Yeah. So so these are the plants which exhibit the uh, CAM metabolism, that is a CAM cycle, uh, which include the cactus, the pineapple plant, the succulents, and so on. So if you see the uh, conditions where this CAM cycle is exhibited, this is an adaptation to why it is means to arid conditions. So as we discussed earlier, that this can be affected by the surrounding environment. So what can that do? It can be some arid conditions where the arid conditions means the temperatures would be very high in the environment, and humidity will be very low, where as well as water availability, groundwater availability to the plants will be very low. So these conditions, you can say that arid conditions that are these conditions, the plants they adapt this sort of cycle for carbon dioxide fixation. That is the CAM cycle, and these are known as CAM plants. So they often display other that is xerophytic characters. So in these conditions, the plant they change their morphology. Maybe they modify themselves according to these conditions. These modifications can be seen either in the root, the stem region, or the leaf region of the plants, where the characters such as the leaf or stem thickenings are seen. Then the reduced leaves are seen with a low surface area to volume ratio, means leaf is not well established. Okay, the surface area to volume ratio is very low, and it is surrounded by all the parts are surrounded by thick cuticle, that is waxy layer, and sunken stomatas are in the form of pits. So all these conditions, why they are there means to reduce the transpiration rate, that is loss of water. So already the availability of water to the plants is very low, and if in these conditions transpiration occurs, means it will further damage the plants totally. So to restrict this transpiration rate, these changes are seen, these morphological changes are seen in the plants, these plants. That is, the leaves will be reduced, that is, the surface area will be reduced, means the lamina part will be very low, or sometimes they are modified as spines also, thorns also, so like the cactus. So, and you will be finding thick cuticle waxy layer also that reduces the transpiration rate. Uh, in the, for example, the succulents, they show this sort of thing, and the stomatas are very sunken. Okay, it is not exposed. The epidermal region in the pits, like pits, where to just to reduce the rate of transpiration. Okay, and in sometimes they shed their leaves also during the day season, and others store water in vacuoles. So they often they shed off their leaves when the conditions are very worse than normal, and they store their water, total water that is left in the plants in the vacuum. So these sort of changes that occur in the CAM plants. Now, if you look at the overall uh, CAM pathway, then you can say that it occurs in two cycles, two parts. So one is occurring during the night time. Okay, so this is the pathway that is during occurs during night time, where this is the, you can say, epidermis, and this is the stomata. This is stomata where it is closed, and so this is the mesophyll cell where this is the chloroplast. So this is the chloroplast region. So now what happens here? The CAM plants stomata are open. Okay, so they allow the CO2 to enter and be fixed at as organic acid. That is the malate that are stored in the vacuole. So here what is happening during the night time when the stomata is open, these carbon dioxide they enter into the plant. So these this carbon dioxide, once it enters the inside the cell, it reaches into the cell, mesophyll cell, where the phosphoenol pyruvic acid, the carbon dioxide is converted into HCO3, and HCO3 combines with phosphoenol pyruvic acid, and it forms oxaloacetic acid and phosphate, releases dephosphorylation, where oxaloacetic acid is found, 4 carbon compound. Further, this 4 carbon compound is changed into malic acid. Malate. So this malate, which is a reduction reaction where oxaloacetic acid and NADPH is utilized here, and getting converted into malic acid or malate, and NADPH is converted into NADP plus, where this malate will further be stored, which is a 4 carbon compound. It will be stored in the vacuoles. Okay? The vacuoles. This occurs in the night time. So yeah. So what happens here? So the carbon dioxide is fixed in the mesophyll cell cytoplasm by a phosphoenol pyruvic acid, and these are the reactions as I said earlier. So the CO2 it enters through the open stomata during the night time, and it changes into it gets converted into HCO3, and in the presence of phosphoenol pyruvic acid, it gets converted into oxaloacetic acid, where oxaloacetic acid undergoes dehydrogenation reaction or reduction reaction utilizing NADPH. It gets converted into malic acid or malate. These malate are further transferred from cytoplasm region to the vacuole region, where during the night time malic acid is stored in the vacuole. So all this occurs where when during the night time. Now, during the daytime, what happens here is, so this is the second part you can say, where the stomatas will be closed, and during the daytime, the stomatas are closed here, these plants. So the carbon in the organic acids is freed from the mesophyll cells vacuoles and enters into the chloroplast stroma and thus into the Calvin cycle. So what happens here is whatever malic acid that was stored during the night time in the vacuole. So here during the daytime, this malic acid, this is occurring during the daytime. So this malic acid which is present in the vacuole, it enters the malate. Okay. So after the when it enters the malate, that is releases the malate from vacuoles, that is the malic acid, it is further broken down into pyruvic acid and carbon dioxide. So decarboxylation reaction occurs, and whatever CO2 that is released from malic acid, it is entering into the chloroplast that is present in the mesophyll cell, where it leads the C3 cycle, the Calvin. And whatever pyruvic acid is there, that gets converted into triose phosphate, and this triose phosphate is again utilized into the chloroplast. Okay. And one thing you can observe here that during the night time, these stomatas are closed here, and whatever water that is present, it is stored here only, or it is stored in the vacuole region. And during the night time, whatever water is there, the mesophyll region, it is sent out. Okay, so through this vacuole. So gaseous exchange occurs, that is carbon dioxide enters in, as well as water in the form of water vapor is uh, released during the night time, and during the daytime whatever water is left over, that remains inside only. Okay, so it cannot go outside, and whatever actions that are taking place, it takes place here in the vacuole and cytoplasm and the chloroplast region. So this is how the carbon dioxide which is present inside, it enters the C3 cycle, and glucose is formed. So CAM pathway, if you say that these plants have adopted organic acid metabolism at night and have normal photosynthesis during the day. You can say that. So the stomata are kept open during night time to trap atmospheric carbon dioxide and are closed during the day to avoid the adverse effects of the transpiration. So that's what it is happening here. If you see during the night time, the stomatas are open, and during the daytime, the stomata is closed. So why it is closed means to avoid the adverse effects of the transpiration, that is the loss of water. That is the reason whatever water is there, it cannot go outside, it has to remain inside only, or it is stored in vacuum. So during the night time, what happens? During the night time, the phosphoenol pyruvic acid produced in the glycolysis reacts with CO2 in the presence of enzyme PET carboxylase. Produce what? To produce 4-carbon compound, that is oxaloacetic acid. So the oxaloacetic acid is then reduced to malate by the enzyme malic acid dehydrogenase. So the malate is then further converted into malic acid by gaining two proton ions from NADPH, and the malic acid enters the vacuole and gets stored there. So all this happens during the night time. And some of the species contain citric and or isocitric acid, as not metric, isocitric acid. Then coming down to following the reactions occur within the guard cells during the night. So in this picture, you can side by side see what all happens during the that is the daytime during the night time. So this happens during the daytime where the stomata is open. So what happens here is carbon dioxide uptake and fixation occurs during the night time where this is the stomata, this is the stomatal cell where the atmospheric carbon dioxide it enters inside and it changes to HCO3 where presence of phosphoenol pyruvic acid, this uh, HCO3 is absorbed and in the presence of PP carboxylase, this is the first enzyme where carbon dioxide fixation is taking place and it is changed into 4 carbon compound that is oxaloacetic acid, which is a 4 carbon compound. So this is taking place where the cytosol region, that is the cytoplasm region, where the oxaloacetic acid it undergoes dehydrogenation reaction utilizing the NADPH and getting converted into malic acid. Malate. So here the enzyme is NADP plus malate or malic acid dehydrogenase is the enzyme. So this is the enzyme. And malic acid further it enters into the vacuole or it gets stored into the vacuole. Okay, during the what? During the night time. So what is happening here? The opening of stomata permits the carbon dioxide and loss of water. So two things are happening here. During night time, carbon dioxide is entering in as well as whatever water is present there that is going outside. Okay? So in the form of water vapor. So this is happening. So here why how this PEP is coming means if you see chloroplast, so whatever starch is present, it changes into triose phosphate, and this triose phosphate undergoes changes, and ultimately phosphoenol pyruvic acid is released into the cytoplasm, where this is the primary CO2 acceptor in case of CAM plants. So all these changes occur when during the night time. Now during the daytime, if you see here, what happens here is first thing is stomata is closed. Okay, so it is closed. So no CO2 can enter inside atmospheric carbon dioxide or no water can be released. So what happens here when the whatever malic acid that was stored here during the night time in the vacuole, that malic acid is released to the cytoplasm. So this malic acid, so what is mentioned here is that decarboxylation of stored malate and refixation of internal CO2 or deacidification. So whatever malic acid or malate that was stored in the vacuole, they are released outside into the cytoplasm, and this malic acid undergoes breakdown, and it is formed into pyruvic acid and carbon dioxide. Okay, so this carbon dioxide it cannot go outside. So the carbon dioxide enters the Calvin cycle, the chloroplast. So here C3 cycle or Calvin cycle is formed, and this pyruvate, which was pyruvic acid that was formed here, it changes into starch. So starch is being produced. So all these changes occur during the what is that during the night time, sorry daytime. Okay, and closed stoma prevents the water loss as well as carbon dioxide uptake. So as the stomata are closed, so during the daytime transpiration cannot occur, so loss of water will won't take place. Whatever water is left over, it will be stored in the vacuole only, and even the carbon dioxide cannot enter inside the cell. So all these things happens in the what is that night daytime. So here deacidification is taking place. So whatever malic acid that is present was present here, that is undergoing changes. It is in carbon dioxide which is used in C3 cycle, and whatever malic acid, pyruvic acid, all those are changing to the starch. That is deacidification process is taking place. So all this thing is regard to the daytime. So what are the benefits of the CAM cycle to the plants? So one thing is that the most important benefit here to the plant is the ability to most leaf stomata close during the daytime. So, so because of this CAM cycle during the daytime, main benefit to the plant is the stomatas they remain closed, they are not open. So that is one major benefit, which leads to the stomatas are closed. So how it is means on being able to keep stomata closed during the hottest and dried parts of the day, reduce the loss of water through evaporation or transpiration, evapotranspiration, okay, allowing can plants to grow in the environment that would otherwise be far too dry. So, as you know, the temperatures during the daytime will be very high, and availability of water is low. So, whatever water that is present inside the plant, stomata opens means all that is lost due to the transpiration. So if the stomata remains closed, then even during the daytime, so one is it regulates the temperature. High temperature won't enter in. That affect the leaves or plant, as well as the loss of water won't be occurring. That is, transpiration won't be occurring. And water would be stored. That is, the loss of water is prevented, and the plants remain uh, healthy. Okay, because loss of water is not taking place. So that is the major benefit of the uh, CAM cycle to the plants. So that is all about CAM plants. Now I want to say that with regard to exam point of view, you can definitely expect essay question with regard to C3 cycle. So if you say that uh, essay question is there, then definitely C3 cycle will be asked, or else if there you can expect short answers with regard to hatch and slack pathway or the CAM cycle. And there may be questions with regard to differences between C3 and C4 plants also. Okay, short answers. So these are the important topics. Now coming down to another important topic in this chapter, that is photosynthesis, that is photorespiration. So what do you mean by photorespiration? So photorespiration, you can say that it occurs when carbon dioxide levels inside the leaf becomes low. Okay, so when this happens on hot, dry days. So during the temperature when it is very high. So at that time, what happens here is whatever carbon dioxide levels inside the leaf are there, it comes down. Okay, it drops down. So on dry days, on hot dry days, plant is forced to close its stomata to prevent excess loss of water. So plant has its own defense mechanism. So when the temperature is very high, so plant what it does is it starts closing its tomatas. So just to prevent the loss of water and damage to the plant due to excess transpiration, that is loss of water. So the plant continues to fix carbon dioxide when its stomata are closed. So the CO2 will get used up and the O2 ratio in the leaf will increase relatively to CO2 concentration. So now what happens here is when the stomatas are closed, so whatever carbon dioxide that entered during the daytime, so that carbon dioxide will be used. That is carbon dioxide fixation will occur completely, and at that time what happens? The O2 concentration inside the leaf will increase. O2 concentration increases, and CO2 concentration decreases. So this is the major effect that will be occurring during this period. So when the uh, carbon dioxide levels inside the leaf drops to around how much? To around suppose 50 ppm. Okay, so the Rubisco enzyme starts to combine oxygen with RUBP instead of carbon dioxide. So as we have seen earlier in C3 plants, in C4 plants, in CAM plants, where the carbon dioxide primary acceptor will be either RUBP or PEP and so on, uh, and that is catalyzed by the enzyme Rubisco. Now this Rubisco full form is what? Ribulose 1,5 bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase. Okay, it can act in two types of reaction. One is carboxylation reaction as well as oxygenation reaction. So it is a multi-enzyme, multi-utility enzyme where now when in these conditions, when the carbon dioxide in the leaf is dropping down, so it is dropping down to how much? Almost to around less than 50 ppm level. So what happens here? The Rubisco it starts acting as oxygenase. So it will be start catalyzing instead of carboxylation reaction. It will be catalyzing oxygenation reaction, and it starts combining with the oxygen that is present inside the leaf. So oxygen with combines with the RUBP instead of CO2, and this Rubisco enzyme is catalyzing. So what happens here? The net result of this is that instead of producing two three carbon compound, three carbon molecules, that is PGA molecules, only one molecule of PGA is produced, and a toxic two carbon molecule is produced that is called as phosphoglycolate. So you just remember that during the carboxylation reaction in C3, what was happening? RUBP is the primary acceptor of CO2, and Rubisco carboxylation occurs, and the first three carbon compound product is developed. That is the PGA, three carbon compound. That is the PGA, phosphoglyceric acid. But here, when the carbon dioxide is decreasing, has decreased, and O2 level has increased. Now, what is this Rubisco doing? It is doing oxygenation reaction. One minute, but is waiting here. So, what is happening here is that the net result, instead of producing two phosphoglyceric acid molecules, that is three carbon molecules of PGA, only one molecule of phosphoglyceric acid is produced, and two molecules and another molecule of two carbon okay, of two carbon compound molecule is present produced. That is what? That is phosphoglycolate. So this phosphoglycolate it is a very toxic molecule for the plant. So that you remember. So this yeah. So that is the result that is occurring, reaction that is occurring here. So now, so here if you see the structure, that is this is the ribulose 5,1,5 biphosphate when it is combining with oxygen in the presence of enzyme Rubisco. So here Rubisco enzyme is acting as what? It is acting as oxygenation. It is catalyzing oxygenation reaction instead of carboxylation reaction. So this oxygen level, so when the carbon dioxide level has gone down, this oxygen level has increased. Now this oxygen is combining with the RUBP, ribulose 1,5 biphosphate, the presence of enzyme Rubisco, where two phosphoglycolate molecule is formed. The two carbon molecule of phosphoglycolate is formed, and the three carbon compound one molecule of PGA is formed. So these two are formed. One is three carbon compound phosphoglycolate, and another one is two carbon compound, that is phosphoglycerate is formed here for phosphoglyceric acid, and here glycolate or phosphoglycolic acid is formed, which is a two carbon compound. Okay, so this is two carbon compound, this is three carbon. So now what is the condition? Some toxic condition is there in the plant because of the production of phosphoglycolate. So the plant must get rid of this phosphoglycolate since it is highly toxic. Okay. So what happens here? It converts the molecule to glycolic acid. So this glycolic acid is then transported to the peroxisome, and there it is converted into glycine. So what is happening here is, so this phosphoglycolate, everything what is happening here, that is taking place in chloroplast. Now here from chloroplast, this glycolic acid or phosphoglycolate, it has to be converted just to avoid the toxic effect of it. So now what happens here? First it is converted into glycolic acid, and this glycolic acid is converted into glycine. Okay, so glycine. So this glycolic acid is further converted into glycine in another cell organelle, that is peroxisome. So here one more cell organelle is involved, that is peroxisome. So you just see here that this is, so there are three cell organelles involved in photorespiration. One is chloroplast, another one is peroxisome, another one is mitochondria. So it is written this like this: mitochondria, peroxisome, and chloroplast. So you just see here that what is happening here. So in chloroplast, CO2 level has gone down and oxygen level has increased. So now what is this oxygen doing? It is combining with RUBP, rubulose 1,5 bisphosphate, in the presence of enzyme Rubisco. Now this oxygen combines with RUBP to form what? Phosphoglycolate. Okay, one molecule of phosphoglycolate or phosphoglycoxylate acid is formed, glycolic acid is formed, and the another product is a three carbon compound, that is phosphoglycerate or phosphoglyceric acid. Now this is, the phosphoglyceric acid is no problem, but the problem is the phosphoglycolate. So this is very toxic to the plant. So it has to be got rid of. So next what happens? This phospho, it has to be converted into some other molecule. Now what happens here is, this two carbon compound phosphoglycolate or phosphoglycolic acid, it is converted into glycolate, the chloroplast one, by releasing phosphate. So phosphoglycolate is converted into glycolate where dephosphorylation occurs. And this glycolate is further transported to another cell organelle, that is peroxisome. So this glycolate, when it enters into peroxisome, further this peroxisome gets hydrolysis reaction where this glycolate is converted into glyoxolate by combination with hydrogen peroxide. So this glyoxolate and hydrogen peroxide, further they are converted into glycine. So glyoxolate gets converted into glycine between this not glyoxolate, glycolate. So this glycolate, first it gets converted into glyoxolate. So glyoxolate in presence of hydrogen peroxide gets converted into glycine. Now this glycine, which is produced in the peroxisome, this glycine enters into another cell organ, that is mitochondria. Okay. So this glycine, once it enters into mitochondria, there are some multiple reactions that occurs where glycine is converted into serine. So this glycine undergoes deamination reaction where amino group is released, C group is released, it undergoes decarboxylation reaction, it releases carbon dioxide, and it undergoes uh, dehydrogenation also where NADP plus is converted into NADPH, and ultimately serine is produced in the mitochondria. So glycine gets converted into serine by undergoing so many reactions, multiple reactions where deamination, decarboxylation, dehydrogenation, all those reactions occurs and ultimately serine is produced. Now this serine from mitochondria it enters into peroxisomes where serine gets converted into hydroxypyruvate or pyruvic acid. This hydroxypyruvic acid it undergoes again hydrogenation reaction where NADPH is utilized and it gets converted to NADP plus and hydroxypyruvate gets converted into glycerate. Now this glycerate from peroxisomes it transfers to chloroplast again where this glycerate or glyceric acid is converted into phosphoglyceric acid by phosphorylation reaction where ATP is utilized. It undergoes a reaction, phosphorylation reaction and ATP is converted into AD. So glycerate or glyceric acid ultimately gets converted back into phosphoglyceric acid. This phosphoglyceric acid, it, what is that? It enters the carbox that is C3 cycle or PCR cycle. It is entered into this, and from there again RUBP is regenerated. Okay. Now this RUBP is again combined with oxygen, and like this process goes on. So this is the whole cycle of the photorespiration. You have to remember that there are three organelles participating in this: chloroplast, peroxisomes, and mitochondria. So you remember this thing. Photorespiration occurs only during the conditions when carbon dioxide decreases, when temperature is hot and stomata are closed. At that time, whatever CO2 is there, it is consumed, and that is how the CO2 concentration decreases and O2 concentration increases. So during this time, this Rubisco acts as oxygenase enzyme, and all these reactions take place. So at this time, the phosphoglycolate molecule that is developed, two carbon compound, it is highly toxic. That is the reason it has to undergo changes or broken down or converted into compounds like glycolate, glyoxylate, this glycine, serine, and further reactions occur and ultimately again PG is produced here and RBP is regenerated. Okay? So this is all about photorespiration. So this you remember that this phosphoglycolate gets converted into glyoxylic acid in peroxisomes and glycine mitochondria and ultimately glycine is converted to serine. You can remember it this. Now the serine, so again that theoretical part, the serine is then used to make other organic molecules that is there in the mitochondria. All these conversions cost the plant energy and results in the net loss of carbon dioxide from the plant. So, to prevent this process, two specialized biochemical additions have been called, that is the C4 and CAM metabolism. Okay? So, just to control this thing, two other cycles or pathways we discussed earlier, metabolism pathways, that is the C4 and the the CAM, the metabolism. So these are there just to prevent this process of photorespiration. Now, factors that are affecting the photorespiration, if you see, what are those conditions? Means first thing is that oxygen to carbon dioxide ratio. When it is occurring photorespiration, when the carbon dioxide is getting low and oxygen level is increasing, then only this photorespiration is occurring. Okay? So it is directly related to oxygen is to carbon dioxide ratio. Now, another thing is that if cells have low oxygen but higher carbon dioxide, so normal photosynthesis occurs. Okay? At that time, what happens here is the C3 cycle, Calvin cycle will dominate. And in C4 plants have little photorespiration because they carry CO2 to the bundle sheath and can build up high CO2. So why in a C4 plants there is a photorespiration is less likely to occur is as you recollect the C4 cycle, two times the carboxylation reaction is taking place. First one is taking place in mesophyll cell, and the second time is whatever leftover carbon dioxide is there, that is sent to the bundle sheath cell. Okay, so there, so two times the carboxylation reaction occurs. So that is the reason that mesophyll cell there that photorespiration won't occur when compared to normal this thing. Okay, so that is the way C3 and C4. So these are the effects that are being for responsible for the photo respiration. So you can, in an exam point of view, you can expect a short answer with regard to photo respiration. Now coming down to the factors that are responsible for photosynthesis. So the rate of photosynthesis is defined in terms of the rate of oxygen production per unit mass of green plant tissues or per unit weight of total chlorophyll. So now here the photosynthesis if you take, so in any these things, plants, so there are some factors that have their effect on this performance, this metabolism. What are those main factors? There are uh, some external and internal factors. So in common, generally, if you see that the main factors that are involved here are uh, light intensity and wavelength, light wavelength, carbon dioxide, then temperature, this temperature. So so there are factors like light intensity, wavelength, light wavelength, then carbon dioxide concentration and temperature and those that have its effect. So if you see the light intensity first, so just a minute. It- Then also it is looking at this one. Yeah, I'll continue like this. Okay, I have to edit this part. So the slides are not fully visible. This thing I will do, and this part we will discuss in our next class. Okay, next when we'll meet. So factors affecting photosynthesis. I'm not able to show you the full slides as there is some error. You are able to see just some part of it. The graph part you are not able to see. So I'll edit this thing today and we'll discuss it in our next class. Okay. So for this, for today, I'll end here and we will discuss the remaining part in our next class. Okay. So all of you just please switch on your videos so that I can take the screenshot. Bharati, Tarak, Sham, Vishnu, Dilip, మీ వీడియోస్ ఒకసారి ఆన్ చేయండి. So in exam point of view, you can expect a short answer with regard to photo respiration. అది కూడా చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ టాపిక్ ఫోటో రెస్పిరేషన్ అనేది. అండ్ ఇంకొక ఇంపార్టెంట్ లాస్ట్ టాపిక్ ఉంది, దట్ ఈస్ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ అఫెక్టింగ్ ఫోటోసింథసిస్. అందులో ఫోటో రెస్పిరేషన్ కూడా, సారీ, ఈ వన్ మోర్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ టాపిక్ ఇస్ దేర్, దట్ ఈస్ Blackman's law of limiting factors. So that I will discuss in our next class when we will meet. What about Vishnu and Bharati? మీ వీడియోస్ ఆన్ చేయండి అమ్మా. విష్ణు, ఆన్ యువర్ వీడియో. Vishnu, can you hear me? Vishnu, are you there? ఈ వీడియో ఆన్ చేయమ్మా. Or else you will be marked absent if you are not there. That means you are not present. You are not listening to the class. Am I right? Vishnu, can you hear me? Okay, others you can just off your videos. So anybody wants to ask anything? ఏమైనా అడగాలనుకున్నారా? If you have any doubts, you can post them in the WhatsApp group and I'll clarify in our next class. And for today, I end here. We'll meet in our next class. Thank you all for joining today's class. Stay home safe, wear a mask, follow COVID rules, and educate others also in your house. Unnecessarily don't come outside, as we don't know still how the conditions are there outside. And even there is a risk of third wave also, which government has announced that it may be from